I'm Bill and I'm glad you're here. In this video, we're going to take a look at how far something needs to be bent, what is enough bending, and what is too much bending when it comes to bending bits of metal. Here is a piece of metal, and if I push it a little bit and let it goes back to where it was before. Bending just a little bit causes metal to bend in what's called the elastic bending region. It's like a piece of elastic. You stretch it, you let it go, it comes back. You stretch it, you let it go, it comes back. It can do it again and again. Now, if I bend it further, there will come a place where it will snap back part of the way, but not all of the way. It is now permanently bent, and that is called plastic bending because it stays bent. It springs back somewhat, but stays bent. Now, to understand why metals have that characteristic of bending, let's take a look at the atoms that the metal is made up of. These are just wooden beads here, but they give you an idea. If you think of an atom as a round ball-like shape, this is supposed to be 5 metal atoms stuck together because they like to stay together. And here's another one that's fitting into this place here. If I push one a little bit, it's going to go back to where it was before when I stop pushing. This is like the elastic bending, because when you bend that piece of metal, all along the piece of metal, atoms are being stretched a little bit out of their normal place. Now, when you push one of these far enough that it doesn't go back, but it plops into the next place in its little atomic structure, that's what happens when there's plastic bending. When you let go, it does not go back. The atoms that did not get pushed far enough to go over here do go back, and so you get that little bit of spring back, but there's a permanent bend. So the thing to remember is that when you're bending a piece of metal, if you want it to stay bent, you have to bend it further than where you want it to wind up so that it can spring back the amount that it will spring back, but still remain bent as much as you want it bent. And that is how you bend metal far enough. Now, there's also such a thing as bending metal too much. And I'm going to take a piece of copper wire to show that and hold it with these pliers. Copper doesn't spring back much, it does a little bit. But if I take this and bend it and bend it back, and I do it several times, it breaks. That's because when you bend metal in that plastic region where it stays bent, and the atoms move, there's actually a little bit of tearing in the atomic structure. And if you bend it that much a number of times, you can actually break the metal. And it's important to be aware of that, because when you're using copper wire to carry electricity, you may bend it this way and that to get it to fit where it needs to go, but you want to be careful. Don't bend it too far that it starts to break, because even before it actually breaks in 2 pieces, it's no longer carrying electricity very well. So that's what to know about bending metal. If you want to change its shape, you have to bend it enough so that after it has done its spring back, it remains bent enough. And if you're going to bend it repeatedly, you have to be careful not to get into that place called metal fatigue, where you will actually break the metal. AstuteKidDotCom